Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tattooing Network.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
John Archiquette.
Will somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?
Matt Turner.
I'm not afraid.
And Joshua Gray.
You will be.
What's going on, Outriders? You're locked into the Legion Outrider podcast with John, Josh, and Matt. Back again for another week at Power 9 Games. What's going on, guys?
Hey, man. How's it going?
Woohoo!
Happy VEERS Day.
It's VEERS Day.
Woo! VEERS Day.
So we've got the brand new General VEERS model that's sitting right in front of me right now, and I know Josh is probably champing at the bit to try to get out on a table, huh?
Well, I'm, it's sitting in front of you, and you keep eyeing it, but that's my VEERS, not yours, mine.
Well,
no, hands off my
Why
VEERS.
would he want them unless he's going to capture him as a prisoner of war for his?
I still got that Sonic hair cleaning
put him in the goop.
The torture idea that Josh brought up last week.
He's not even going to ask him any questions.
We got some great stuff for this week. We've got some hobby news. We're going to start taking a look at some third-party terrain and accessories, do a little bit of review, and got some hands-on time with it. We're going to take a look at a brand new Star Wars show that's coming out that just was released today, or the news broke today regarding it. And, of course, in the game news, we're going to start talking about VEERS and the news that we got from the brand new Snowtroopers coming out. So a lot of good stuff to go over this week.
Man, Snowtroopers look so good.
The models are the rules.
No. Just how they're gonna play. Yeah. We'll get into it, but man, I'm excited enough about Snowtroopers that I hedged my bet and I had one pre-order down, and just before we walked in here, I went down and I threw down another pre-order. So
nice.
Yeah. So I'm on board, man.
Nice.
I'm on board, and we'll get into that, but.
So all I know is we got a lot of stuff to go over this week, so we're gonna get right into it. First of all, games. What kind of games do you guys get in this week?
Oh, I got my face caved in on Sunday. It was that
wasn't a pre-existing condition.
No. It didn't make it any prettier.
Face.
That's for sure. I ended up on the wrong end of a trooper spam list, and boy, I tell you what, man, having a lot of activations, it's nice. Regardless of what you're running. So played somebody here, and they had a trooper list that was 2 ATRTs, Luke, and then 6 units of troopers, and it did not go well for me.
Wow. Sounds like a cool list.
I haven't done a whole lot of list variation yet. I'm still running the 3 troopers, Vader, bikes, ATST, and them being able to move basically anything that they wanted after I was all done activating, it was not good. It was not fun. So activations appears to be the name of the game. And I'm seeing a lot of that as I look, online, battle reports, stuff off of Tabletop Simulator, stuff like that. A lot of folks are saying, hey, I want a tournament. Look at this list. And it's like 3 bikes and 6 troops and Vader, stuff like that. So, mass of units, not like really big, not massive, but having a mass of units really appears to be the way with the you go I go it's big. It's big right now.
It seems like that order of activation really has become, or I'm sorry, the having more activations has really become something to swing the tides in a close game.
Yeah, and I tried to. I tried to play the cards as much as I could to set up the battlefield to be advantageous to me. I didn't want to be in a battle line scenario where we're spread way the heck out. So I tried to go breakthrough and major offensive, and just figured I'd hide behind cover and turtle up and try and absorb and whittle him down. And it didn't work so well.
You know what you need? You need the cleaning power of flamethrowers.
I do need the cleaning power of flamethrowers, but not yet. Because I can't have it yet.
Soon. Matt, how about you? Getting any games in this week?
Yeah, I got in a game in last week. It didn't go well for me either, but I got a rematch with Joe, trying to do a little bit different with my Rebels, the double flyer. I dropped the 3 naked ATRTs and put in 2 regular ones and then some minimum troops. And it just wasn't enough troops.
Yeah.
It was a pretty close fight up until about the end of round 4, but Joe's really come a long way. He's gotten really good and gave me a run for my money and definitely took it on Holmes, but I definitely want to play him some more.
So what we're trying to say here is I lost, Matt lost.
John.
Maybe you don't want to listen to us so much because we appear to be not very good at this game.
I don't think we've ever presented ourselves as experts so much as fanboys.
No, I'm joking. I'm just playing.
But John is the one that's been cleaning
John
our
over
clocks.
here.
I did. I won my game
All right,
against.
see, there's our credibility.
All right.
There we go. We got John.
This is why I shackled myself to him for the Grand Army tournament, the doubles tournament that we're going to be doing.
We're just going to listen to John's opinion on everything for the rest of
just
this
to kind of
cast,
stick with the same theme. I've been running the same list where I'm running 5 Rebel Trooper squads and 3 ATRTs, all rotary blasters, and then I run that one bare bones squad of troopers with the rest of them kitted out, and kind of like how you guys had issues with dealing with guys who had too many troops and too many activations. My opponent, John, is a great player. He had a good list, but it was just he had two Rebel speeders and only 3 bare bones troop squads. And
that'll do it.
And we played the same scenario that Matt, you and I played, where you have to try to, I forgot the name of it, where you have to just get to the other person's end zone. Breakthrough. Yeah. And once I wiped out his 3 troop squads, it was like he barely had enough units to get by, and I just overwhelmed him with numbers.
Yeah, where it went wrong for me in my game is, I got a little swaggy, and I'm like, all right, here comes Vader. He's gonna, all your troops are away from Luke. He's gonna come out here and he's gonna Master of Evil and suppress everybody and make them all run away. And then I found out that Vader, looking at 3 Z6s and full squads and having 18 dice, 20, 30 dice thrown at him, you lose Vader pretty quickly, even with red dice. It didn't go well. Yeah, he threw 1 attack with Z6 and Rebel Troopers, and he threw 11 dice and put 8 hits through. And I'm just like, well, there goes Vader. Bye-bye.
We put a lot of stock into how great the red defense dice is, but when you don't have a dodge on there, you're still only have a 50-50 shot of making it.
Right, and the thing is that was his second attack at me, and I had spent the dodge token and rolled my defense dice, and I'm taking 2 hits, got no surges, so deflected nothing back. And then the second attack, he rolls 8 hits, and he rolls 8 hits, and I rolled 5 surges. But I had no dodge token anymore, so that was the end of that game. We're pretty much right there.
I feel sad for you. That is,
it was
I don't feel that bad for him.
Okay.
Don't show Josh empathy.
Oh, you're right.
Thinking.
I'm connecting to him as a human being, and there's my mistake.
Don't do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting more games in this week, and I think we're going to start seeing a lot more diversity now that we've got Mr.
VEERS especially, yeah.
Yeah. So, Star Wars news, beyond just the game itself, we got some pretty big news out of Disney. What are we looking at, Matt?
Yeah, so as of this is Thursday morning, they tweeted out that there is a new Star Wars TV show animated that's going to be coming out in the fall, it looks like. But this is also coming from Dave Filoni, the guy that did Rebels that I know me and Josh are a big fan of, and Clone Wars previously. But it looks like it's going to be setting in the just before Force Awakens, centering around a lot of pilots and ace pilots and stunt fighters and that kind of stuff. They said specifically BB-8's going to be involved, as well as a new character, Kazuda Shiono, who is a young pilot recruited by the Resistance and tasked with a top-secret mission to spy on the growing threat of the First Order. So, sounds interesting. They also announced that there would be guest appearances from Poe Dameron and Captain Phasma, voiced by Oscar Isaac and Gwendolyn Christie. So, that's pretty cool.
I think this leaves a lot of room for people like me and myself. I watched a little bit of Clone Wars. I haven't watched at all Rebels yet. Not that I don't intend to.
I'll loan you my Blu-rays. You should.
I need to.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah. But there hasn't been anything, I guess, plot device wise that has just drawn me to I really need to see this because it's going to fill in plot holes. This feels like, because of the time setting that they have it, and because there are so many questions that I and everyone else has about what happened between the destruction of the second Death Star and the Rise of the First Order.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How
And
did that happen?
I'm still working my way through the Awakening series of books, which is supposed to close the gap. So I'm kind of curious where they leave it. I'm almost done with the second book. I'm going to start the third one as soon as I can. But it sounds like this is going to follow on to that and bridge more of that information.
And there's a lot of that that's in the books. There's some comic book series. There's a Pope Dameron comic book series.
Pope Dameron, yes.
That fills a lot of that in there.
Space Pope.
So yeah, I mean, the books. I didn't like the books. I thought they were rather poorly written. The Chuck Wendick books were not.
They were okay.
No, when I read like the preview chapter on like Amazon trying to decide if I was going to buy
the first book
this
was
or
pretty
not.
rough.
Yeah, and there
I'll
was
give it
like no kidding a parenthetical that went like 7 lines. I'm like, I'm not reading this book. I'm sorry, I can't do that. It was bad.
Well, I'm cheating actually, and I'm listening to it on audio.
Oh, okay, sure.
Well, I mean, for people who don't want to read those books, and maybe this will give some other side information,
Right.
and it's I guess an interesting plot point where they can really work through, and having some of the characters like BB-8 and Poe and Captain Phasma. I want to learn more about Phasma,
Right.
because
Yeah.
I mean we didn't get to see a whole lot of her after
Other than being captured and then kicked into a fiery hole.
unceremoniously
Yeah.
killed, but.
I'm excited because I mean, like, I've always been drawn to X-wings and TIE fighters and like
Speaking
the
of which-
space combat stuff. So seeing a series where it's going to be fighters,
Yeah, if you look at the logo, they actually have a fighter on there. I
Right.
don't recognize it.
it looks like it's
Kind of like a Z95.
Yeah, it looks like it's
mate.
a Z95 refit kind of thing. Because in the Clone Wars, there was a Z95 that was a lot kind of longer and slimmer than what we've traditionally seen as a Z95 in the classic trilogy
like
universe.
a Z100
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
probably a Z100. Yeah. So yeah, that's the first thing when I look at that. I'm like, oh look, it's a Z95. But yeah, it's supposed to center around pilots and fighter squadrons and stuff like that. So that's why I'm excited for it.
Oh, yeah. No, my favorite series of
I love
books-
the X-Wing books. The X-Wing
Yeah,
books were phenomenal.
Rogue Squadron books
Yeah.
were freaking amazing. I think we've talked about those before.
Yeah.
But
And then just, I mean, looking at it stylistically, I mean, granted, we only have that one little screenshot to really just speculate on, but it's got a very bright look to it. I don't know if that's going to be the whole series, but it doesn't appear to be, I don't know, as dark and,
Yeah, and they said it's going to be anime-style animation. So,
Okay.
now what kind of anime are we going to get? Are we getting, like, Ghost in the Shell kind of that anime art style? Or are we getting some of the more cutesy anime series?
well, that's kind of what I mean.
we're
Like,
having
you know,
Yu-Gi-Oh come out on,
Yu-Gi-Oh,
with a lightsaber.
What kind of anime are we getting here?
I mean, it does look very vibrant and very cartoonish.
Yeah.
So I
But
don't know if that's gonna.
I'm more than willing to give it a chance. I've been a fan of Dave Filoni now for his 2 series, so I'm sure they'll
And
knock
they
it
said
out of
it's
the
going
park
to be
with
on
this one.
Disney XD, which, if
Great.
Rebels is any indication, they're going to kill a bunch of people. So, well, I mean, if it's on Disney and you've got 8-year-olds watching it, you're not going to be shooting a bunch of people, right?
True.
I mean, that was the one big thing. Everybody was like, oh, Disney's doing a series with Rebels, that it's going to be, a bunch of, soft focus, character stories, not a lot of combat.
A bunch of Rose and Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, right. Then you watch the first episode of Rebels, and they kill like 10 people in the first 5 minutes, and it's like, all right, I'm in. Here we go.
Bridger
it's
mind
wars.
controls a
Right.
guy in a walker and just
Yeah.
has him walk off a cliff.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm good with this.
Pretty dope.
Yeah. So,
Did they give any date or anything for the expected release?
I think it said the fall. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I'm sure
well-
that will be pending.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll probably see more things come out.
Hopefully some
as,
trailers here soon
yeah.
too.
So we'll continue to give you guys news about that as we discover things. I'm sure everybody else kind of discover at the same time.
Yeah.
So take a look at some hobby news. We got for the first time, we were given a chance to review a set of terrain that was given to
Yeah.
us, and it was by 354 Studios, I believe.
Skylar from 354 Studios actually, and I think it's really important to note this as we talk about this review and everything. This was completely unsolicited. We didn't go to somebody making terrain and say, "Hey, man, if you give us some of your terrain, we'll review it for you," or anything like that.
Are we opposed to that?
I'm not.
Okay. But that's not what happened here.
That's not what happened. I was on my I was on my Fantasy Flight Games account looking at the forums, and then a message popped up, and so Skylar from 354 Studios messaged me and said, "Hey, would you guys be willing to review some of our terrain?" Yeah, sure, why not? So, but I think that's a really important distinction to make. That this wasn't us going out looking for people to send us stuff. This was completely unsolicited.
Although, if any listeners happen to work at the Carl Strauss breweries out in California, feel free to send us some stuff to review.
Or this game's expensive. If you just want to donate, some Snowtroopers or some Rebel Special Forces troopers, I'm sure John would be happy to review those.
Oh yeah,
if anybody wants to just donate them to us, we won't turn them down, but
But anyway, so we got this kit.
But yes, we got the kit in, and it consisted of 4 parts. There were 3 buildings, and then a speeder of some kind. I'm not sure what model it was, the speeder, but
yeah,
speeder,
something
like that,
right. You see it real quick in the New Hope.
Yeah,
in Mos Eisley.
Yeah,
yes.
I
think they had one parked in the background.
Well, okay,
whatever.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, one of those.
Anyway, so it was 4 pieces that was included in the kit, and at first glance, they're well designed Tatooine buildings. They very much fit the part of something you would see somewhere in Mos Eisley. One of them looks more like a home dwelling. There was one of them that almost looked like a garage of some kind. Had a large steel door. All 3D printed, and I haven't worked a lot with 3D printed material. I just on passing.
It's definitely something that's coming more and more prominent, but yeah, it still hasn't quite proliferated out into the wild.
Yeah, it's all over for this game.
Oh
anyway.
yeah,
sure.
There's like 15 or 16 different places where you can find Imperial terrain, a couple other places. Some of it's MDF, some of it's 3D printed. There's a ton of places. Yeah.
So I don't have any, frame of reference to tell you what is a good print job and what's a poor print job. It felt sturdy enough. The plastic was thick enough where it didn't feel like, I was at risk of breaking parts off, with basic wear and tear. There is some of the horizontal lines that I think are
the printing process.
Yeah, exactly, and they're pretty typical.
Extrusion printing, so that's just how it works.
I think with these particular buildings, because they're Tatooine and because they kind of have that worn look to them.
You can get away with it a little bit more.
Exactly. Yeah. I took some 60 grade sandpaper and gave them a pretty thorough sanding. I didn't get rid of all of it, especially on some of the antenna and things like that. Naturally, you're not going to be able to get all that off. But some basic upkeep to it, and it fit the bill. And I'm in the process of painting it right now. I'll throw some photos up of it tonight once I get those out there, and so you guys can take a look at it for yourselves and make your own judgments. One of the big issues that I had was the scale seemed a little bit off.
To be fair, it was pretty inconsistent between the different buildings because I was looking at them too. Yeah. I think 1 or 2 of the buildings was really good. And then there was another one where the door was Jawa-sized, I would say, so it didn't quite really fit the theme.
Well, it was a Jawa house.
But the speeder you were talking about, it looks really good, but it's literally half the size and would actually serve no purpose on the table whatsoever.
Yeah, so if you wanted to use it as just some kind of piece of just random wreckage that was on the terrain battlefield.
Even that, it's so small that I couldn't imagine. You can't even really hide a model behind it or anything. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe you could put a little handle on it and make it look like it's some child's desert skiff or something like that.
We paint it gold and we hang it from a chain. And
but overall, I thought the stuff was well printed. It's just I would like you said, I would standardize the size of the doors and try to make sure that they're about the right size for an actual
if at all possible, scale them up maybe
model.
A little bit just so you have a little bit more opportunity for terrain blocking. We were talking about this beforehand. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of there was one that comes with double hemispheres on top, or not the hemispheres, what's I don't know,
cylindrical.
Yeah, cylindrical. Half cylinders on top of the roof. I'd rather just leave that flat so I could actually put troops on there. Use it as,
that's a stylistic choice.
Yeah, for sure.
You look at a lot of the buildings on Tatooine and New Hope, and there's domes and things like that.
Yeah, domes are everywhere. So that absolutely makes sense.
But overall, thank you to 354 Studios for sending us to those to us, and if those of you guys want to check it out,
they sent us a coupon code, right?
Yeah, they sent us a coupon code. They have they do most of their selling through Etsy. So you go to Etsy.com, type in 354 Studios, and that'll bring up their page. And if you're deciding you're going to get some of their stuff, go ahead and at checkout, type in coupon code Outriders18. That's OUTRIDERS, and then the number 18, and that'll get you some money off of that. So
Cool.
Thanks to them for sending that to us.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of neat to get the chance to.
Do they want it back?
No. They
Oh,
said,
okay.
They said we could, no. They said because I asked. I'm like, all right. Well, do you want us to send this back to you? And he's like, nah, dude, keep it. So
Cool.
You know, we've got some more Tatooine stuff to put on the Tatooine board.
Well,
that we've
that'll
got
grace some of our games now from now on.
Yeah. I mean, we'll definitely use it for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, so cool. So thanks to them. So.
And of course, the other big hobby project that's going to be coming up now is now that we've got VEERS in front of us, we're going to have to probably paint them up.
Oh yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the model so far, Josh?
I like it. You know, the sculpt is, and this was something we were all kind of in agreement on prior to, but the sculpt isn't very actiony. It's kind of passive.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like ready to pull his E11 out of the holster, and it's kind of like, it's not very
Is it an
commanding.
E11?
Huh?
I don't think it's an E11. Is it an E11?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't make me get the card out of the box. And
I
show
mean, you could.
you. I would.
You probably should.
I'm going to right
Okay.
now.
Well, as he's
Ooh,
as he's
this is
getting that
riveting.
out. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like, I'd like to see a little bit more of an action-packed pose, but then again, because he is kind of a stoic leader figure.
An E11 with 3 white dice.
Yeah. Now go ahead and tell me the phrase that you'll never, ever, ever really tell me voluntarily. Josh, you were right. It's an E11.
Okay, well, it's
Anyway,
an E11 rifle as opposed to an
They're all
E11.
rifles.
I thought they were carbines.
It's an assault pistol.
yes.
There you go. How are you pulling a rifle from a pistol holster? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Everything's going
it's
crazy.
A large holster.
Yeah,
Anyway, so it's
going for his Luger.
it's a 4-piece model,
Yeah.
and
Which
you know,
is surprising.
Yeah.
For what it is. I mean,
it looks like honestly could have been one.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for what the sculpt is, and for I guess the dynamic ability of what General VEERS might do, some 60-year-old man might do on a tabletop.
I mean, it's kind of fitting with that pose. He's going to be hanging out at the back, not doing anything. So he's like, well, I guess I'll get ready to maybe shoot something. So I guess I get it, but.
From a hobby standpoint, my biggest question is how hard is it going to be to model him up as Grandmaster Pycelle?
Pretty hard.
Pretty hard.
Pretty hard.
Pretty hard.
I've already seen some folks trying to paint the face blue and make it Thrawn.
Okay.
Because
That'd be
Thrawn in Rebels wears the same outfit
he's got
for ground,
pretty
ground
standard,
missions.
yeah.
So I've already seen people taking VEERS and painting them up as redden up the eyes and doing Thrawns with it.
Pierce wouldn't be
So-
grabbing his, excuse me, geez, Thrawn wouldn't be grabbing his pistol though. He'd
No.
just be standing there with his hands clasped behind his back.
all smug.
Yeah,
He would be even more stoic.
yeah,
Right.
no,
I
for
think.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he
But-
kung fu's you.
Yeah.
So besides the terrain that we just talked about, we also got another third-party bit of accessory here. Matt, what
Yeah.
are we holding?
So this one was not sent to this. This is one I reached out to and actually am stocking right now. But
Okay.
it's the curled paws. You might have seen them if you're in the Legion Facebook group, but they put up their stuff, and I was like, hey, that looks pretty sick. But it's basically they went and did an acrylic version of all the cardboard tokens and whatnot that come in the core set for Legion. And I hate cardboard, so I was like, okay, I think I'm going to get involved in this. And they arrived today, and I've been peeling little stickers off the back, getting them ready. I am super happy. But yeah, they did. They're just little colors with the paints on top, and you get like 60 of them in a pack.
So for some of us who aren't really as well versed in the acrylic versus cardboard argument, what's the virtue of having acrylic over cardboard?
Well, obviously, it's the rule of cool, man.
Okay.
It shows you have lots of money to spend.
Yeah, no, it's
really
it's-
insignificant things.
I don't drive an Escalade or have gold chains, but I do have little pieces of plastic instead of cardboard. So therefore, yes,
Okay.
different echelon of gamer.
Okay, so if I were to go to a tournament and drop my cardboard tokens in front of somebody, you'd probably look down on me.
Oh, I mean, I look down on you anyway. Which is tough because you're way taller than me, so...
What's interesting is FFG does custom acrylics and custom dice for their kits, their tournament kits, and then especially for like store championship, worlds, regionals, stuff like that, they have dice.
Yeah.
So you can use it to play mind games too, because it's like these dice only go to like top 2, right? Mm-hmm. I was at a tournament once, X-Wing, playing this guy, and he setting his stuff out. It's first round, right? It's one of my first major events in X-Wing, and this guy pours out like nothing but like tournament dice.
Oh wow!
Like tournament winner dice, and I'm like, oh dude, I'm like, wow, man, congratulations. And he's like, no, I bought these online.
Yeah. Imagine
so
that.
Kind of, but no, there's people out there. There's people out there that that's all they'll use is they'll use their worlds dice. So they'll use and they have like 3 sets of worlds dice and templates and stuff like that. Cool.
Imagine that you can just go use cold hard cash to buy your validation.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of like that was, and then I caved his face in, and that was pretty satisfying. But but it's like, oh man. So because of that, I won't go and buy the FFG stuff. It looks cool, but I'm not personally as a player. I'm not going to go in front that, hey, look at what I did at Worlds, But there's plenty of folks out there who will.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, perhaps the more budget conscious. So yeah, right. you got like 60 of them in there. There's all the damage tokens and status tokens and all that. But 60 all come in the pack. It's $35. You can get it at curledpawcreatives.com, or actually on our website. We're putting them up for sale there as well.
Yep. And for the record, we're not sponsored by either of these two groups. We just happen to be,
Actually, you are sponsored by Power 9 Games. So
well,
yes,
okay.
Power9games.com.
Yep, thank you.
For that one, by the way.
but not 354 Studios.
No,
you're
right.
No, we both, we got some products in from them. Figured you might as well
people
take a look
might
at
be
it.
interested.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm excited personally because tomorrow. Curled Paw's great. They do a lot of great stuff. They're one of the biggest suppliers.
Oh yeah,
for
you're getting
stuff.
a different one.
There's another company out there called Applied Perspective that they're who I've used for all of my X-Wing stuff, and their stuff from my order from them gets delivered tomorrow. Not only is it acrylic, but it's mirrored on the bottom too. Ooh. So yeah, it's super swaggy, man.
So you can see your facial reaction when you get your face caved
exactly.
in.
I can see what I look like when I lose every game. Because I'll just cry myself to sleep.
The
on my
sadness
pile of
staring back at you.
Yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll get back into your game news for the week.
Tune in every Wednesday to Radio Free Tatooine, a Star Wars podcast that's better than some and worse than others. Take a trip to a water cooler far, far away as we bring some casual, fun conversation into the Star Wars podcasting community. Hosted by me, Sean, my sister Amy, and John. Radio Free Tatooine. We may not know what we're talking about, but we sure know how to record it. For more, visit RadioFreeTatooine.com, a proud member of the Radio Free Tatooine Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tatooine Network, recorded on location at Power 9 Games. Whether you're looking for the latest releases from Legion, X-Wing, 40K, Magic, or any of our other extensive inventory of board and card games, head to power9games.com and use coupon code OUTRIDER10 to get 10% off your order. Plus, shipping is free on orders over $100. Now, back to the Outriders.
And we're back on the Legion Outrider podcast. Now, one of the big news events that came out this week was the preview, or the more extended preview, I guess, of the Snowtroopers model. And while we didn't get them this week like maybe we had hoped originally, we get to see what they do and what the cards they come with are. And I think it caused a little bit of a stir.
Yeah, and it didn't take me very long to come around to them. I was really looking forward to Flame Troopers because who wouldn't? Yeah. But then we figured we were going to get an ion weapon, and oh boy, that thing is hot trash. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that, especially compared. So T7 ion rifle, range 1 to 2, exhaustible. And it's like, what, 1 red, 2 white dice? Something like that?
Well, 1 black, 2
1 black, 2 white dice. So it's even worse.
Yeah.
How many points?
34, 35, something like that.
Yeah, I think
it
it's
ain't
34
cheap.
points.
Okay.
But compared to what you're getting for the MPL for the Rebels, it's not even close.
Okay, so let's key in what you said there for the Rebels.
Sure.
They don't have any other way to get Ion except through this. So
Well, neither do the Imperials. Imperials don't have any ion weapons.
no, this is their. That's what I'm saying. This is their Ion weapon.
But I mean, if you're looking at a like for like weapon, even comparing the Z6 to the DLT, DLT goes out to range 4, 2 red dice. Z6 1 to 3, 6 red dice. Okay, those weapons are ish on par.
I feel those fill very different roles.
Sure, they do. Yeah. But you look at the T7 ion rifle, and man, it sucks. It's.
I'm in full agreement with you.
I don't think it's useful at all, because especially mating it to a unit that moves speed 1. You got a short range weapon for a unit that goes speed 1. Because it's exhaustible, I don't think it has that much utility. And I'm going to contradict myself here in a minute when we start talking about flamethrowers.
That's good. Okay, at least you're cognizant.
Yeah. Because so it's especially for the points. For the points, for what you get out of it, it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not worth it. But boy, that flamethrower, man. It doesn't have the 2 black dice that the ATRT one does.
Oh, and
which
thank God.
understandably, because it's man portable,
Exactly.
as opposed to being on a vehicle. But man, that's going to be so good. And a lot of this stuff was that you see people, and you see the people online talking about. They're like, well, it's made it to a speed 1 unit. You got to get them up into range 1. It's going to take you forever. Yada yada yada. I don't necessarily agree with that. It's going to take a double move. You're going to be double moving a lot with Snowtroopers. But here's the thing. If you are moving with Stormtroopers, you are moving a speed 2 and then firing.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, if you're moving, there's a move and fire.
Sure.
Move and fire, move and fire, move and fire. So a double move with Snowtroopers is actually a speed 3 move. We actually, and we'll put pictures up. We actually, me and Joe, Joe and I sat out there while we were waiting for everybody to gather so we could record this, and we were playing around with it. Now here's the thing. It's a speed 3. If you're double moving and firing, you're moving a speed 3. Now here's the big thing that I think a lot of people maybe aren't getting.
Okay.
It's a double jointed speed 3. Because you're using the speed 1, and you can you got the joint on the 1, and then you got your end location, and then you can move again and joint it again. So you got a little bit of sidewinder there where you can maneuver in between stuff. Whereas with the speed 2, you've got the 1 elbow in the template, and that's where you're going.
That's fair.
You've got a 100-degree arc. You got a 180-degree arc in front of you, basically where you can go.
I don't know how much that's going to play into effect with troopers.
Yeah,
though.
it's nice, but
depends on what your terrain is, though, too.
Yeah, if you've got a bunch of tight quarters or something.
Yeah, and if you're in a way where you want to maneuver and wind around everything, that's big. Where it's also big is if you're on one side of a building.
Yeah.
If you're on a 90-degree corner on a building, I'm on one side of the corner, you're on the other side of the corner. If you want to shoot me, you've got to come out behind that corner, shoot me, and you're stuck there. With Snowtroopers, I can pop out from behind that corner, shoot you, and then get back behind cover.
That's true.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's really big.
Especially if one of your guys has a flamethrower.
Right. The big thing that I like about Snowtroopers, Stormtroopers are a great generalist unit.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Red dice, especially with the DLT, does a little bit of everything.
Yep.
It's got a little bit of anti-armor. It's a great it's Space Marines.
Yeah.
Right? It does everything well, nothing overwhelmingly good.
Very true.
Snowtroopers are two things. One, they're a great close assault force.
Yeah.
You put impact grenades on a unit of Snowtroopers, and it's death to anything within range 1. Flamethrower, impact flamer, and it's death to either a full strength unit or vehicles at range 1. Here's the other thing. Every unit in this game loses a bunch of combat effectiveness as you start taking guys off, right?
Yeah.
If I have a DLT unit of stormtroopers, end game, and all I've got left is that DLT and that unit leader.
And the sergeant, yeah.
You know, at range 2, I'm throwing 1 white, 2 red. Not great. You know, at range 1, I'm throwing 2 red, 1 black if I've got a grenade. Again, okay, not that great. End game, if I've got grenades on my snowtroopers, and I'm going up against a full strength unit of whatever, 6 minis.
Yeah.
I'm throwing 7 dice off of 2 dudes.
Yeah, and ignoring cover.
And ignoring cover.
Yeah, I think that's the really big
phenomenal
thing. Yeah.
end game. You know, if I'm whittled down, you know, I could come around a corner and you got a full strength unit sitting on an objective, and now you've got nothing sitting on an objective if the dice go right. So the staying power, now you got to get there. You got to close, but hostile conditions just became your new best friend. You know, that gives you plenty of ability to get most of the way up the field before maybe you're taking long range abilities. Yeah. Mortar pods, VEERS or Leia's, command card. It gives you a lot of flexibility. Yeah.
Hostile conditions, for those of you guys who aren't immediately familiar with that, that's the basically the condition card that gives you cover anything beyond range 2, right? Or you cannot shoot beyond range 2. Correct?
Round 1, you can't shoot beyond range 2.
Yeah.
Round 3, you can't shoot.
Round
beyond,
2, you can't shoot beyond range 3.
Yeah. Round 2, you can't shoot beyond range 3. After that, it's free to go.
But it gives you that.
That's
first...
not hostile conditions.
Is that
hostile conditions? Is the one where you got to keep your unit sergeant base to base with one of the
conditions. We do this professionally, folks. We know this game. Trust us.
It's heavy cover or something like that.
Whatever the condition card is that simulates a snowstorm or a storm of some kind. Here's the other place where snowtroopers are great, and everybody's like, "Oh man, mobility. Their mobility's no good." Well, their mobility's pretty fun when I rapid reinforcements anywhere on the board and range 2 from you.
Yeah.
At the end of the, if I'm up on activations, if I'm taking a trooper heavy list, I'm going to take those guys and put them aside, and then after you've already done all of your moves, well, that's where I'm going to choose to activate my troopers, and I'll rapid reinforce them within range 2 of any enemy unit, and then next turn they'll go first, and I'll do a double move and flamethrower you. Fun.
Or you pop out and you ion their ATST. Yeah?
Yeah, flamethrowers. So
come on.
So let me get in your head here. So if you're going to run them, you're going to run them.
You don't want to do that. You do not.
I'm not running full snowtroopers.
Okay.
It's going to be, if
2
I've
and
got
2
a list,
or something.
Yeah, 2 and 2 max.
Yeah.
Because again, it's a specialist unit.
Yeah.
I'm not building my entire army out of doing, an orc charge, basically.
Okay, yeah.
It's they're great for digging units off of objectives, ignoring cover, shoot and move, that kind of stuff. It's not going to be something I'm going to make the core of my army.
Okay.
I'll run a trooper heavy list, 5 troopers, 3 stormtroopers, 2 snowtroopers, something like that. Bikes, VEERS. It's not going to be something that I'm not loading up on. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I had 1 pre-ordered. I went and pre-ordered a second one. I didn't say I had 1 pre-ordered. I pre-ordered 4 more.
So we're looking at like a full unit being about 80 points with flamethrower, extra guy, and no other equipment.
Okay.
I think it was 84 without the impact grenades.
With the impact grenades.
Yeah,
with a grenade, it's 84. But the thing is with a DLT and a stormtrooper unit and grenades, it's 84.
Okay.
It's 1 point different. It's negligible. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't do it. I mean, you're getting the same thing for the money. It's just you lose that generalist and you move into a very specific kind of thing. And we're going to see the same thing with fleet troopers because their weapons capped out. All their weapons,
range 2.
Well, their primary weapon is capped out at range 2.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be the same kind of thing. They're going to be a get up, get in your face, and throw a bunch of white dice.
Yeah, I think you're definitely going to want to hold these guys as late as possible for deployment too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because you're going to have a target unit in mind that they set him up behind the cover around the corner from this building. Well, guess what? We're going to go from porch to porch and then launch around the corner at you if at all possible.
Yeah, but I mean, when I first read the article on the first read through, I'm like, oh man, I'm whelmed. That's, it didn't really. And then as I sat there and thought about it, and the arguments online started back and forth, and then I was like, well, wait a minute. What about this tactical? And what about this tactical situation? What about this? Once I did a bunch of whataboutism, it was, choo-choo, all aboard the bandwagon, y'all.
Right. And I'm glad they didn't make it a clear choice. You had to think about it. You know, how am I going to use these guys? Because if they were just straight up better than Stormtroopers, I'd be pissed. Because why would I never ever bring my Stormtroopers in? I want to have reasons to bring them.
They have to play differently.
They're side grades. They're options.
Ways to do
so.
it. Who do you think they synergize better with, VEERS or Vader?
VEERS? I mean, just on pure action economy.
Yeah.
You know, if I want to, I mean, if you want to talk about what's the maximum amount of actions, quote unquote, I can get right now, well, I can do VEERS, hand an action token or hand an aim token to a Snowtrooper unit. Snowtrooper unit, first unit, defend, then move and shoot. That's 4 actions for 1 unit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or that's 4 things on the board. You know, 2 tokens, move and shoot.
You could do the new ways to motivate them, I guess, if you want to.
New ways to motivate. You gives them 5.
Yeah.
You can lose one of those guys because, hey, we just established you're not losing a whole lot of combat power by losing 1 Snowtrooper.
Yeah.
If you're getting within range 1.
Yeah.
You have new ways to motivate them, kill a guy, you know, and then move.
And they move like they got a pod racer up their butt.
That,
so,
hey, I mean, if you can find a way to run a VEERS Vader list, go for it.
I really want to try that.
I know,
actually.
It wouldn't be bad. You know, and the Snowtroopers go really well with VEERS esteemed leader.
Yeah.
Where you get Guardian, because I lose a Stormtrooper and I feel that. You know, because I'm losing.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
I'm losing combat power with white dice or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I lose a Snowtrooper on my way into range 1. Man, whatever. It's all good.
know
I
what?
lost 1 black.
This is all a meat shield for your flamethrower.
Right. And here's the fun thing. You know, we're talking about late game, whittled down units, staying power. If I get a Snowtrooper unit with grenades within range 1 of an enemy infantry unit, that's 11 black dice.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
That's it.
Yeah, sold.
That could be 2, maybe 3 hits for me. So that's pretty good. I like those numbers.
Right. Now, I mean, you lose precise.
Yeah.
You know, you lose precise. There's give and take.
Yeah.
But I'm willing. Those are gives and takes that I'm willing to take. I'm willing to take 1 reroll off of an aim token to do a double jointed 3-speed and then shoot with an aim token with VEERS if I so choose.
So let me ask you this though. Are you buying like 5 VEERS so you can get enough environmental gear for all your stuff?
Boy, the salt on that one. No, I'm not. Because and so if for the folks that if you're not familiar with what he's talking about, you know, the one unspoiled card that we got with VEERS is environmental gear. Environmental gear goes on that just general squad equipment upgrade.
3 points.
Grants 3 points and grants that unit unhindered. Which for Stormtroopers is great because it means I can go wherever I want and stay with it.
Essentially, any unit that moves more than range 1 that normally would get reduced going through difficult terrain now is not reduced at all.
And of course, all of the X-Wing players immediately started having flashbacks to Star Vipers, which had two auto thrusters cards in on a completely worthless ship that you'll never, ever competitively think about putting on the table. People spending $20 literally to go buy two copies of auto thrusters. So now folks are like, well, do I got to buy 6 copies of VEERS? And, well, if you want 6 copies of environmental gear, yeah, I guess so. But I kind of recalibrated my thinking on the way over here about this.
Yeah.
Okay. FFG's policy has been upgrade cards are really intended for the unit they come with.
Mm-hmm.
Environmental gear didn't come with VEERS, so you can put them on your Snowtroopers or your Stormtroopers. Environmental gear came with VEERS, so he can keep up with your double moving Snowtroopers.
Okay.
Because remember what other unit they announced VEERS with?
Sure.
Snowtroopers.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely some thematic.
Yes, environmental gear is great on just about anything because it lets you move wherever you want. But it's intended for VEERS.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's intended to allow him to stay within range 1 of the troops he's supporting. Ostensibly, Snowtroopers. Are we going to see him on the table as Stormtroopers? Of course we are. But, you know, he's intended to go with the units he's released with. So that's the FFG kind of strategy, and that's what they said they're going to do.
Okay.
They're not going to put cards that you're not supposed to be, and you're going to. But that
They're not
card
doing
is
like an
intended-
LCG thing where
Right.
everybody you're
Yeah,
supposed
yeah,
to
yeah.
buy each one,
This-
and you get a little bit for everybody.
Right. So environmental gear is great on any unit, but it's intended to go with VEERS, so we can keep up with everybody else. So I get it.
I think that's one thing that's interesting about this release, and then some of the new releases we have coming out after this. We're seeing a lot of cards that synergize with terrain. With the ability to move through difficult terrain, with both the Snowtroopers and the Fleet Troopers seeing like they play better at a closer range. I think we're going to start seeing a bigger push for having more terrain on a board.
Yeah. Especially area terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've played, of all the games that I've played, all 6 now, I've only seen area terrain on the board once. Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
I've played a couple with area terrain.
Yeah. I say I'll build a board for you if you want. I love area
I'm
terrain.
playing in your store, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, if you guys throw down your own terrain, I'm not going to like walk over and say, no, you're doing it wrong.
Right, yeah. No, I get it.
Stop it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
I feel like that's one thing that always enhances gameplay too. Is if you want to take some of the variables about whose list is better, you want to find out who's a better tactician, throw more terrain on the board.
yeah. And and that's the other thing. That's why we're not seeing environmental gear spam in the VEERS list.
Yeah.
Because if I could just for 3 points negate area terrain, of course it's an auto include.
Yeah.
Especially over grappling hooks. I don't find myself climbing a whole lot. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't seen.
When
on
we finish
top
our
of things.
Ewok Village map, then
Yeah, right.
But if I could spam environmental gear, that takes area terrain out of it completely.
well, I mean, you're paying the points for it, so
3
you
points.
should.
It's the cheapest upgrade.
Well,
in the game.
times 6 units, 7 units, 21 points. That's half a squad of guys. So you're paying your points, whatever.
Well,
you should get the
but I
best.
mean,
it's not a
and it
healthy
may not be
investment.
beneficial on every piece of
That's true.
and every board you play on. So
But I mean,
unless
how much
you're
you-
like, there's a lot of trees here, I better pay my points now.
How much does it cost to put targeting scopes on every unit? It's more than 21 points.
Yeah.
I mean,
How often do you ever put targeting scopes?
I
in
never
every
use
unit?
targeting
Exactly.
scopes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know guys that do, and they love it. So
I'm wasting points on grappling hooks on my guys, and I've never climbed anything. So.
I'll tell you what, I would rather spend 15 points to put that on 5 units
Oh, sure.
than spend 34 points on that new Ion.
But let us not forget, as people get out there to experiment with the good general, that whatever crazy shenanigans they get up to, if they're trying something risky, as requested, you have to say, "Here, hold my VEERS," and then execute.
Yes. Yes.
Was that Daniel? That
That
wanted
was
us? Yeah,
Daniel.
yeah, okay.
That was
yeah.
Daniel. That needs to be the episode. The title of this episode. Hold my VEERS. There you go.
So next week we've got the big event going on in Minneapolis.
Hyperspace Report, yeah.
yeah. So of course Worlds is going to be held there, but
Some other
prior
things
to
going
Worlds-
on
Yeah,
for
yeah,
other Star
yeah.
Wars stuff. Whatever.
Nothing Legion oriented though. So
Yeah, so for us, the most important thing is going to be the hyperspace
Right.
report. What are we expecting from the hyperspace report?
I have no idea.
Well, I mean,
I literally have. Like,
Well, so
like-
they're supposed to be covering a lot of, and I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but the up and coming, what's hot and fresh coming in the Star Wars universe for Fantasy Flight, which is quite a bit at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they just did a big reveal for Imperial Assault with all of the Rebels
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Brand new expansion for that. Wave 14 is on the way for X-Wing,
Okay.
which is the Saws Rebels, what they just previewed again this week, and then the TIE Reaper. No other announcements, so a lot of people are expecting that's where we're going to see the solo content
okay.
for X-Wing
Yeah, makes sense.
announced. But, I mean, it looks like now with the release schedules of one a month that, maybe we thought that, hey, we're going to get VEERS and Snowtroopers 1 month and Leia and Fleet Troopers in 1 month, and then the Barricades and Objective Pack in 1 month.
Oh, speaking of, Snowtroopers, we now know confirmed May 10th. So, yeah.
What it looks like now is a release a month is VEERS 1 month, Snowtroopers 1 month, Moisture Evaporators the next month, Barricades the next month,
Oh, no.
Han the next month.
I don't even know
that's
if we
what
can
it-
predict
It's like
that.
every
looks like-
two weeks from when VEERS and Snowtroopers came out.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
26th to the 10th.
that's once. That's 2 releases in 2 months.
So if they do, I don't know. We'll see.
but I
every
remember
2 weeks
them-
or something.
Right, but-
Yeah.
But they did say that both Leia and the Fleet Troopers would be quarter 2. which would
Well,
mean
a quarter is 3 months spam.
Yeah,
So span.
Yeah.
Well, so we'll see. So as far as Legion goes, the only logical thing that is yet to be released is the counterpart to Han and Special Forces Troopers.
Death
Yeah.
Trooper
So,
Krennic, right?
Death Troopers Krennic, probably, or Scout, or what I'm hoping. God, I'm hoping Scout Troopers Callus.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Oh, dude, I want a Callus so bad in this game.
Too bad it's going to be Thrawn if it's anything like that. But.
Which, he stood around and looked, why take the guy that has a proven history through 5 seasons of a show in leading ground operations in Age of Callus? Yeah, we're going to take Thrawn, who just stood around with his hands behind his back and looked all smug for like a season and a half.
Well, actually, Callus... well, I don't want to get into spoilers, but it was so
You
it
know
was
what
only
I'm getting
4.
at, though.
Okay, yeah,
You know what I'm
right,
getting
yeah.
at. Anyways, so I have no idea.
Bring on mutton chops.
But either way, we will feature that in our next episode. We're gonna take a strong look at that, and
Yeah.
Yay! Maybe I'll
that
be
means.
there for it.
Now, important time change for folks. That
Yeah. Don't forget this.
Maybe it's important to get this out there. FFG released their stream schedule for the entire world today. So X-Wing, Imperial Assault, Armada, Destiny, all that stuff. Important programming note, the hyperspace report that they had scheduled for 1 o'clock Central Time is now 7 p.m. Central Time. So adjust your schedules accordingly.
Yeah, it's gonna change things up here.
And it's also scheduled for a 2-hour block. So they've obviously got a lot of stuff they want to talk about.
Yeah. So go ahead and search up the FFG. I think it's FFG Live or something on Twitch. But you can subscribe to it or favorite it, and it'll send you a notification when they get the stream up and running. Or don't, and just wait for us to talk about it.
Yeah, just wait, or wait for your favorite Star Wars Legion podcast Facebook page to put a link to the Twitch channel.
I'm sure we'll
send
out
we'll do
those
that
too.
You could
Yeah.
do that too. Just
Or I don't have anything else.
yeah. It's okay, man. It's okay.
So one of the other things that we're kind of been looking at as far as studying the game was Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah,
And I know that's been a
Josh has
huge
got some
part of the
interesting
community.
facts here on that.
Yes. So, Tabletop Simulator, we talked about it a couple of times on the Legion Discord channel. That's kind of become the social hub for matching up and getting Tabletop Simulator games.
Raging
going.
about Snowtroopers.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
So they have a league running there. If you played X-Wing and you're familiar with like the Vassal League, same kind of thing. They call it Invader League, and really, this has been it's really important for people that are like looking to see the shape of the meta and things like that, because there haven't been any major events. There hasn't been like a critical mass of events that have happened where you can aggregate data.
We've got data points for the first time.
Right. Yeah, we actually have some data points. So through about 45 games. In Invader League, we've got some interesting data that I wanted to share, primarily about all that turn zero stuff, all the condition cards, victory conditions, all of that stuff.
And just to be clear, so John isn't lost, they didn't paint their models.
What?
They come pre-painted. Yeah, they actually come pre-painted.
on the computer screen.
It's on a computer screen.
You can't even just like bust out Microsoft Paint and do that.
I mean, you could if you wanted to, I guess. But,
Not Photoshop, Microsoft Paint.
Yes.
Here's the other thing, and this is going to be my kind of my big shill for Tabletop Simulator. What's cool about Tabletop Simulator is as soon as something gets spoiled in an FFG article, it goes into the game.
Oh,
so
nice.
they've been playing with VEERS and Leia for like months, or well, not months, but they've been playing with VEERS and Leia for a while.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're going to see some of that in the data here, because for objective cards and condition cards and victory conditions, some of that is being pulled from the preview article for the objectives pack.
Okay.
So there's actually 5 data points per category instead of just 4 that come in the core box. So so broken down into what was your objective? Really surprising here. 41% of folks out of those 45 games or so, 41% played intercepted transmissions.
Huh.
Yeah, right? Huh. Right? You would think it would be something else. And
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Of the remaining 59%, it's divided up pretty much equally. 16% played key positions. 12% played recover the supplies. 19%, so almost 20% played breakthrough. And then the smallest portion, 9.7%, played sabotage the moisture evaporators, which is the victory condition.
Oh, sure.
That's the spoiled one from that. Here's one that's pretty much even right across the board. What were the battlefield conditions? Limited visibility. There we go. That's the one.
Yes.
Limited
We know
visibility
things.
was 19.4%. Hostile environment was the biggest one, second biggest one actually, at 25.8%. Clear conditions at 29%.
I have never played that one.
Right?
That condition. I always flip it.
I
when
get rid
I
of
see
that
it.
one too. Yeah.
Rapid reinforcements at 16%, and then again the spoiled one from the objective pack, minefield, which I have no idea how that plays.
You put some tokens.
Yeah, you put
out.
some tokens down. Yeah. So minefield is 19.7% or 9.7%. Sorry.
Okay.
And then what deployment was used? Major offensive for 45% of the deployments.
Really?
Wow. So the big L-shaped corner deployment is almost half of everything.
Interesting.
Yeah. 26.20. The second biggest one, 22%, is advanced positions, which is spoiled out of the objective pack.
Okay.
And then pretty evenly for battle lines and disarray. 12.9 for battle lines and 16% for disarray.
Wow.
And then there's so few people have done it. There's not even a number associated with it. And the slice of the pie chart looks practically non-existent. Your friend and mine, Long March.
Really?
That's actually really surprising.
I don't even know. It's that little. I'm showing them the graph on my phone, but it's that little teeny tiny sliver without a number. But that's Long March.
So nearly half of the games played on that have been using the
Major offensive,
and using the what do you call it? The intercept the transmissions.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
So yeah, that's pretty much. If there's a meta shaping up, that's it. You know.
I wonder if there's maybe some software issues. I don't use Tabletop Simulator. I'm wondering if that's maybe a condition they can set up really easily or something. If
It
that
might
might
be.
be
I don't
shaping
know,
it.
but I mean,
it's interesting at least. I can't believe the Long March is so small in there.
Yeah. Well,
if that was a piece of my pie, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, give me more pie.
But I mean, the thing with that, I mean, Major Offensive is one of the more fiddly ones to set up.
No, I agree.
Because
with
you're
you,
sitting there, range rulers in an L shape, and carry the 2, and
maybe
X salts for
if
Y,
anybody's got experience playing on the tabletop, they want to offer some comments up. I'd be keen to hear what their experience is.
all that data comes to us from LJ on the Discord server. It goes by Talk Polite if you see him on there. So
thanks, Betty.
Say him hi.
Yeah,
see him say hi. He runs Invader League basically.
Oh, nice.
And he's also doing that. He is a member of the Armed Forces. So thanks for your service, dude. And he is running all of this from a deployed location. And that's all I'm going to say. So
he must be Air Force.
No, actually.
Wow. Okay. Usually it's only our guys that have that kind of time.
Yeah, and we say that as 3 Air Force guys here.
Yeah.
3 Air Force vets. But so thanks for your service in multiple ways. Not only being there but
being
the
there
and being there for both for the Legion community too. So thanks, dude. Appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty awesome. And having things like that, I'm sure, are a huge boost when you're, geographically separated from your actual minis and from people who you can play
right,
with.
Yeah, and that's I mean, he's playing everything on Tabletop Simulator from wherever.
Technology's such a magical
Isn't
thing.
it though?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Technology's great.
Screw you, Black Mirror.
Yeah. Love it.
All right, well, that's about all I have to get into today. You guys, anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, dude, I got one thing I want to say just real quick.
Just one more thing?
Just one more thing. Yeah, I know, I've been talking a lot. Would you guys like to be on this podcast too?
No, that's all right. You got it.
Matt, go ahead,
We're
say
good.
something.
I'm out.
As we've been kind of reaching out to other podcasters throughout FFG games and stuff like that, we're kind of new to this podcasting thing, so we've been reaching out to a lot of folks, getting some ideas. Definitely want to shout out to the Race Squadron guys. Talking to a couple of them online. But then Ryan Farmer from the Minox Squadron podcast.
The Minox
Squadron podcast. They're one of the biggest podcasts in the FFG verse out there. So I've been in his ear the last couple of days, asking for advice. How do we do some of the other administrivia that goes along with running a podcast and a podcast community and all of the other extras that we hope to bring eventually. So he's been really great talking to us. So I just want to give him a shout out by name.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks a ton, dude, because I know I've eaten up probably about 2 hours of your time over this week talking about just inane podcast crap.
But
so,
if you're involved in X-Wing and not listening to them already, you should definitely check them out.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they're good. They've been doing this about 2 years.
Josh is having a fanboy moment.
I am. I'm like, aw, yay. Why not?
You guys, who I talked to this week?
Yeah, I know. Hey, man. Hey, buddy. Yeah. I basically just made this moment like that creepy guy from Happy Gilmore. Like, hey, shooter, want to go to the Sizzler?
Yeah.
That's us. So,
it's the Red Lobster.
But yeah.
But speaking of shout-outs, all the guys over at Black Sun Heroes, my little Galaxy of Heroes, and the Radio Free Tatooine guys that do the Galactic War Report, they got featured in one of the developer talks for Galaxy of Heroes. That's a kind of a big deal. So if you see their feed up on there, definitely check them out.
All right, folks, that's our show for this week. Just want to remind you that the Legion Outrider podcast is brought to you by the Radio Free Tatooine Network, a podcast network that's better than some and worse than others. To see the full lineup of shows, head to radiofreetatooine.com. See you next week, Outriders.
You've been listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tatooine Network.
Only now, at the end, do you understand?
For more from the Outriders, make sure you like us on Twitter at Legion Outriders, subscribe to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Legion Outriders, and make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for listening.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.